little bit about your freelancing stuff, and I think it's super cool that you do a lot of different genres of music, and I'd love to hear more about Mourning a Black Star, about the group and your involvement in it. And then second part, I love to talk a little bit about you all released an album during this time, and I want to talk about like the digital release and how that is affecting you all as a group.
Yeah. So I started playing with Morning at Black Star in 2017, I think, 16, 17. And the person who's kind of in charge of the group, although we don't really talk like that now, but the brainchild of the group is named R.A. Washington. And at the time, right before I started playing with this group, and I think a year or two into playing with Morning at Black Star, I was playing with the Afrobeat band called Hybrid Shakedown, and RA saw me play with this band, and I met him through a mutual friend, and he, I think, hit me up on Facebook and was like, "Hey, I have this band called Mourning a Black Star. Do you want to make a horn section? I'd love for you to play and get a horn section together." And I was like, I don't know. Like I've never heard the group before. So I was asking him, what type of group it was. So they had a gig, I think the following week at a place here in Cleveland called the Bop Stop. So I told him I would go and listen to them, and that would kind of be my deciding factor, because that was kind of at the point in my career where, as much as I like, doing different things, I was also at a point where I wasn't taking all of the gigs that were given to me. I was able to be more choosy and to really play music that spoke to me. And, groups can be really time consuming, and I mentally needed to devote most of my time to groups that meant something to me at that point in time, and now too. So anyway, I went to hear the group perform, and I was like, oh, absolutely want to be a part of this group. They sound great. The message is great. The music is great. The lyrics were amazing. So it happened that quickly. So I called a trombone player named William Washington. He was playing trombone in my father's big band. My dad has a big band called Gabriel's Horns here in Cleveland. And I think I'd known William for less than a year at that point. But I'm kind of like a spiritual, kind of a feeling type of person. So when he asked me to get a horn section together, William was the first person that came to mind. And also we had a saxophone player at the time as well. So it was trumpet, sax, and trombone at the time. And now it's William and I as a horn section. And yeah, we've been growing as a band since 2017, and it's been hard. It's been a lot, but it's good. I don't really like, it's kind of like a group project, like when you're in school and you have to do group projects. They're not always the best. There's always like some, two people doing all of the work, and then everyone else just kind of biting off everyone else's work. So it's that whole kind of getting used to working with 7 other people is a lot. But I think we do it pretty well, and we try to be gracious with one another, and it's been a good family. I think that answered all of the first part of the question. Going into our album release, so we spent like a month trying to figure out if we were actually going to release the cycle after we learned of COVID and the pandemic and quarantine and everything. We had a whole tour, like a 3-week tour or so, something like that. It was one of our larger tours coming up to promote the album and surrounding its release and everything. And we decided to just go with it. We felt it seemed like a time where people would need good music and just something to uplift everyone's spirit. And we had worked really, really hard for it. A lot of the tunes on our latest album we have been playing for at least a year. maybe a year and a half, and that's for us a long time. We make music all the time, so we've just got so many songs that are unreleased, and we just really wanted to release it, so we did, and it was great, but it was also strange. We The day of the album release, we got together on Zoom, and we each had our beverage of choice and kind of did a virtual cheers. And that day we were supposed to have a concert here at a place called Now That's Class, which is one of our favorite places to perform. So it was definitely bittersweet. But we were glad to be able to release this music, which is, I think, our most favorite tunes that we've been playing, and to share it with the world.